Hello everyone. Today I am continue my previous topic, which is software prototyping. In my last video, I discussed about what is prototyping and some scenario which is used to follow the prototyping in a sequential manner, and also throw away prototyping type. Now in today's video I am going to discuss about the remaining types of prototyping and something more about prototyping. Let's start with evolutionary approach. This is the second approach of prototyping. First of all, it is an open-ended approach which is called evolutionary prototyping. Basically, the idea behind using this evolutionary prototyping is that an initial prototype is represented to the user in this prototyping, and they provide feedback and suggestions for improvement. Means these are actioned by the developer, who then present a more refined prototype, and the user once more provide feedback. The process is repeated. Okay, means we can say that the evolutionary approach of prototype is built in such a way that it can be used in the construction phase. This approach is quite different from throwaway prototyping, because the main goal when using evolutionary prototyping is to build a very robust prototype in a structured manner and constantly refine it. And the reason for this approach is that the evolutionary prototype, when built, forms the heart of the new system, and the improvement and further requirements will then be built. When developing a system using evolutionary prototype, the system is continuously refined and rebuilt. So we can say that evolutionary prototyping acknowledges that we do not understand all the requirement and build only those that are well understood. And it uses the prototype as the first part of analysis activity that will be continued into a design and construction. This technique allows the development team to add some more feature and make changes that couldn't be conceived during the requirement and designing phase. We can say that for a system to be very useful, it must evolve through use in its intended operational environment, and a product is never done. It is always maturing as the user's environment changes. We often try to define a system using our most familiar frame of references, where we are now. So we make assumptions about the way business will be conducted and the technology base on which the business will be implemented. So here a plan is enacted to develop the capability, and sooner or later, sometimes resembles the envisioned system is delivered. Okay, now evolutionary approach requires some specific requirements, like it needs the tool language platform which is used to develop the prototype be the same as the actual development platform selected, and also it is used to minimize the reuse of prototype and important conventions for the design and programming to be let down before the development of the prototype begins. As well as the prototype should be reviewed both externally, means in the form of behavior, and internally in the form of design and code. So the evolutionary approach develop a considerable part of the system during the requirement and designing stages, but slow down the requirement definition process, and also drag the attention of the developers to internal details. Evolutionary approach have some advantage over throwaway prototype. They are in the sense of functional system. Although they may not have all the features the user have planned, and they may be used on the interim basis until the final system is delivered. Means in this approach, it is unusual within a prototype environment for the user to put an initial prototype to practice use while waiting for more developed version, and the user may decide that the flawed system is better than no system at all. So in the end of evolutionary prototyping, we can say that developers can focus themselves to develop part of the system, and so that they understand instead of working on developing a whole system. So for minimization of risk, the developer does not implement poorly understood feature and the partial system is sent to customer site. Here, as user work with the system, they detect opportunity for new features and give request for those features to developers. And here developers then take these enhancement requests along with their own and use sound configuration management practices to change the software requirement specification, updation the design and recoding and retesting. Okay, now moving ahead, how the selection of appropriate prototyping approach is done. So this is shown in this tabular form. In this table you can see that there are some questions available, and in terms of throwaway and evolutionary prototype, this is available in the answerable form. And in this question, the first one is the application domain understood? So this is replied as a form of these prototyping. In a throwaway prototyping it is yes, and in evolutionary it is yes, and other preliminary work required condition is it is no. And can the problem be model? So these are the answers for these this question. And is the customer certain of basic system requirement? So this is sometime it is yes and sometime it is no. Similarly for evolutionary approach. And are requirement established and stable? So these are the answer for this question. Are any requirement ambiguous? And the next question is, are there contradiction in the requirement? Basically, in general, any application that creates dynamic visual display and interact heavily with the user or demand algorithm or combinational processing that must be deliverable in the evolutionary fashion, so it is a candidate for prototyping. However, these applications areas must be weighed against application complexity. Means if a candidate application will require the development of tens of thousands of lines of code before any demonstration functions can be performed, so it is likely to be very complex for prototyping. Because the customer must interact with the prototyping, so it is essential that here that we have to select the proper approach of prototyping. And for answering these type of question, and here it is very essential to follow some steps like customer resources be committed to the evolution and refinement of the prototype, and the customer is capable of making requirement decision in a timely fashion or not. And finally, the nature of the development projects will have a strong bearing or efficacy of prototyping. So here these questions indicate typical sets of answer and corresponding suggested prototyping approach. Now here is the comparison between these two approach, throwaway prototyping and evolutionary prototyping. So in first comparison, in this approach prototype is constructed with the idea before final system is built. This means that the idea is constructed with the means it is discarded after the analysis is complete, and the final system will be built from the scratch here. And whenever we talk about evolutionary approach, then the prototype is built with the idea which converted into the final system. Means in this approach the prototype is built that is eventually we converted into the final system. In second comparison, the prototype which is used as a throwaway is to be discarded because there is no point in implementing those part of requirement that are already well understood. Hence, the focus of the development is to include those features that are not properly understood, and the development approach is quick and dirty here. And whenever we talk about evolutionary prototype, then in the evolutionary prototype approach, because the prototype is to be retained, those part of the system that are well understood are implemented where it is clear they are needed. The development approach is more formal here. And in throwaway prototyping, this leads to the prototyping process model, whereas the evolutionary prototyping leads to the iterative enhancement processing model. Okay, now moving ahead, the another approach of prototyping is incremental prototyping. In incremental prototyping, the final product is built as separate prototype. At the end, the separate prototype are merged in overall design. By the help of incremental prototyping, the time gap between user and software developer is reduced. Means in incremental prototyping, this is basically building multiple functions prototype of the various subsystems and then integrating all the available prototype to form a complete system. Now moving ahead, the next approach, this is the last approach of prototyping, which is extreme programming. Extreme programming is used as a development process which is especially used for developing web application. Means extreme prototyping is used in the web development domain environment, and for this it consists of 3 sequential phases and each one based on the preceding one. Means here the first sequential phase is as a basic prototype with all the existing pages is presented in the HTML format. Then the data processing is simulated using a prototype services layer, and finally the services are implemented and integrated to the final prototype. Okay, here this process is called extreme prototyping because it is used to draw attention to the second phase of the process where a fully function user interface is developed with very little regard to the actual services. Now next is cost of prototyping. For prototyping of requirement analysis, its cost must be kept low. Means only those features that will have a valuable return from the user experience are included in the prototype, and only means we can say that to reducing the cost, we have to follow some specific features like exception handling, recovery, conformance for use, especially for some standards and formats which are typically not included in the prototypes, as well as because the prototype is to be throwaway, only minimal development document need to be produced during prototyping. So we can just use this type of prototype. For example, design document, a test plan and a test case specification are not needed during the development of the prototype. And another important cost cutting measure is reduced testing, because testing consumes a major part of the development expenditure during regular software development. So by using cost cutting method, it is possible to keep the cost of the prototype to less than a few percent of the total development cost. Okay, so finally we can say that the cost of developing and running a prototype can be around 10% of the total development cost. However, it should be pointed out that if the cost of prototype is 10% of the total development cost, it does not mean that the cost of development has increased by this amount. Here the main reason is that the benefit obtained due to the use of prototype in terms of reduced requirement errors and also reduced volume of requirement change requests which are likely to be substantial, thereby reducing the cost of development itself. Now moving ahead, prototyping methods and tools. For prototyping to be effective, a prototype must be developed rapidly so that the customer may assess results and recommend changes. Means to conduct rapid prototyping, we are just using some particular classes of methods so that it become very easy to understand and to use. So these are divided into three generic classes. Here the first method is fourth generation technique. Fourth generation technique encompasses a broad array of databases, query and reporting languages. It is also uses some program and application generators and other very high level non-procedural languages. Because fourth generation technique enable the software engineer to generate executable code quickly, and they are ideal for rapid prototyping. Although the application domain of fourth generation technique in currently limited to business information system, so tools for engineering applications are beginning to emerge here. Next one is the reusable software component. In this approach of rapid prototyping, it is basically used to assemble rather than build the prototype by using a set of existing software components. And a software component may be a data structure or databases, or a software architecture component, that is a program, or a procedural component, that is a module, is used. And in the case where software component must be designed in a manner that enable it to be reused without detailing knowledge of its internal working. Okay, and as well as melding prototype and program component reusability will work only if a library system is developed, so that components that do not exist can be cataloged and then retrieved. Although number of tools have been developed to meet this need, much work remains to be done within area. And whenever we talk about the formal specification and prototyping environment, then a number of formal specification languages and tools have been developed as a replacement for natural languages, specification techniques, etc. Today, developers of these formal languages are in the process of developing interactive environment that enable an analyst to interactively create languages based specification of a system or software. And it also invoke automated tool that translate the language which is based on specification into the executable code, as well as it enables the customer to use the prototype which is executable code to refine formal requirement. Okay, so many specification languages are being coupled into the interactive environment in an effort to achieve automated software engineering paradigm, which is shown in this figure. Here we are just looking that there are some methods and tools are available, and the flow of information is just like this, where first of all the first phase is requirement gathering, then formal language representation, then automated generation of prototype, after that be optimizing and tunneling, and then completed software is converted. And in this phase, although still there early stages of development and application, such as environment offers substantial hope for improved prototyping and software development productivity is also there. So in this way, there is also need of verification and modification in some phases. So in this way the whole procedure is work. Now here are some advantages of prototyping method, in which the first one is reduced development time. Means it is basically used to improve communication between the developer and the end user, and it also increased user involvement and ability to clarify hidden and conflicting or ambiguous requirement. So the effort of doing these things, there is reduction of time is available in the development phase. It reduces the development cost and requires user involvement because it provides a working model to the user early in the process, enabling early assessment and increasing users' confidence, so that we can say that there is a user involvement is much desirable, and here quicker review of the SRS and better expectation setting of end user are also available. And here developers receive quantifiable user feedback and facilitate system implementation, since users know what to expect. Means the developer gains experience and insight by developing a prototype, thereby resulting in better implementation of requirement and result in higher user satisfaction. Means the prototyping model serves to clarify all the requirements which are not clear, hence reducing ambiguity and improving communication between the developers and users. So it also exposes developers to a potential future system enhancement, because there is a great involvement of user in a software development. Hence the requirement of a user are met to the greatest extent, which helps in reducing risk which are associated within a software. And here are some disadvantages of prototyping is also there. These disadvantages, just like first one is insufficient analysis. Means it basically focus on a limited prototype which can distract developers from properly analyzing the complete project. So this can lead to overlooking better solution preparation of complete specification or the conversion of limited prototypes into poorly engineered final projects that are hard to maintain. Further, since a prototype is limited in functionality, it may not scale well if the prototype is used as the basis of a final deliverable, which may not be noticed if developers are too focused on building a prototype as a model. Second one is a user confusion of prototype and finished system. Means user can begin to think that a prototype intended to be thrown away, which is actually a final system that need to be finished or polished, and this can lead them to expect the prototype to accurately model the performance of the final system when this is not the intent of the developers. User can also become attached to features that were included in a prototype for consideration and then removed from the specification for a final system. And next disadvantage is developer misunderstanding of user objective. Means is that here developers may assume that users share their objectives actually, without understanding wider commercial issues. For example, if we talk about user representative attending enterprise software event, then it may have seen demonstration of transaction auditing without being told that this feature demands additional coding and often requires more hardware to handle the extra databases accesses. So here user might believe that they can demand auditing on every field, whereas the developer might think this is feature creep because they have made assumptions about the extent of user requirement. Okay, so here if the developer has committed delivery before the user requirement were reviewed, developers are between a rock and a hard place, particularly if user management derives some advantages from their failure to implementation requirement. Next one is the developer attachment to prototype. Means here developers can also become attached to prototype that have spent a great deal of effort producing. This can lead to problems such as attempting to convert a limited prototype into a final system when it does not have an appropriate underlying architecture. Next disadvantage is for excessive development time of prototype. Means Here, a key property to prototyping is the fact that it is supposed to be done quickly. If the developers lost sight of this fact, they very well may try to develop a prototype that is too complex. When the prototype is thrown away, the precisely developed requirement that it provides may not yield a sufficient increase in productivity to make up for the time spent developing the prototype. And finally, the expenses of implementing prototype means the starting cost for building a development team focuses on prototyping may be high, but many companies have development methodologies in place, and changing them can be mean retaining, retooling, or both. So many companies tend to just begin prototyping without bothering to retain their worker as much as they should. Now moving ahead, here are some decision criteria for prototyping. These means here prototyping approach provides an efficient and systematic way to understand the requirement of the user. So for this purpose we are using these criteria, like the first one is developers application experience, next maturity of applications, problem complexity, usefulness of early and partial functionality, frequency of changes, magnitude of changes, funds and staff profile, access to the users, and management compatibility and volume of fuzzy requirement. So for any project which is based on assessment of these criteria, a decision can be made about whether prototyping should be done, and if yes, what type of prototype should be built. For example, if we talk about throwaway prototype, so a throwaway is built if the application is new or not well understood, then the problem complexity is high. If low funding is available in the short term but high funding may be available in the long term and a high access to the user is there, then the management is flexible and there are substantial critical requirements that are fuzzy. So in this way these decision criteria becomes very important part of any prototyping model. Now the next one is example. Basically, in our interactive marketing, it must be accepted by producer if it is to be successfully implemented. So most of the producer have little familiarity with computer and consequently cannot easily express their requirement. So the requirement particularly of the user interface must be known prior to the to build the system. So the proposed solution here is to use prototyping to elicit user requirement, and it is proposed to set up a series of screens to explain to producer all the steps they would have to follow to use the system. So for this I am just taking this example to show this particular thing with these three screens. The first screen is for send cancel, and the second screen is for offer buyer accept, and the third one is purchase offer buyer. So there are these three screens is used to show the initial input, and the second shows the offer received, here the offer received, and the third one is just used to show the delivery advice. So we can now use the screens as a basis for discussion with the producer. Here one more thing is also there is that the screens are developed to follow the sequence of the processes used by the producers. In that sense, we can use a discussion framework. For example, if we say the first thing that you do is the enter the following on the screen, then at the stage you may inquire if something else is needed from the producer, or discuss screen layout in more detail. Then you can discuss the offer screen and how to respond to it. Then the menu here allows the initial offer to retrieve or with producer what they would like to have to on these screens. So other questions can be asked related to issue like screen layout or indeed whether this screen is needed at all or whether offer should be automatically accepted. So in this way, one particular issue for discussion is the numbering scheme used for offer and purchases, like in this manner. So in this way we will just describe our prototyping method and all the related approach of prototyping. Thank you so much to all of you, and here are the reference used.